Here is supposed to be a sacred resting place of our ancestors on the island of St. Statia.
Welcome to the podcast Reclaiming Our Stories, Restoring Our Ties. My name is Ulysses Lopes, and you are listening to the podcast series by the St. Eustatius African Burial Ground Alliance, a grassroots organization formed as a result of the protests against the excavations on the 18th century burial ground of enslaved Africans, the Golden Rock, that were started by a team of international archaeologists in June 2021 in St. Eustatius. In this podcast, you will learn about the journey of the Alliance, its vision, and the important role that the community of Statia, the Caribbean, and the great African diaspora serve in reclaiming our narrative, history, and identity, as well as restoring our ancestral dignity and spiritual ties. This is episode 3. Today we will talk with Carlos Lopes. So, Uncle, give us a little insight on how you became a member and also a bit of your background for the audience here.
Okay, I'm going to start on my background. As you mentioned, my name is Carlos Lopes. I always tell people that I am a born Statian, born Antillean. I am the president at this time of the St. Eustatius Historic Foundation. And why I got involved with the St. Eustatius Burial Ground Alliance is at that time, Statia was in a type of free fall, spiraling slowly down. We had been taken over by higher powers, and some of the decisions made were not in the interest of our ancestors and of ourselves. It was going ahead, I would say, lawlessly. And that is when the Alliance stepped in. And my first act to help the Alliance was put my vote in when they had a petition online. And it worked on from there. The Burial Ground Alliance became so powerful that we were able to change the implementation committee and also change the narrative of why Saker at that time was digging at the Golden Rock site. I know that I am from African descent, but it wasn't really big in my mind. It was something on the back burner. But the weak, when the past, when those that cannot stand up for themselves, it brought something to me. I needed to do something. I needed to be a part of something where we could stand up for our ancestors that could no longer stand up for themselves. The teaching that I got from my parents and my grandparents was know where you are coming from, know where you are, and know where you're going. At that present time, when I decided to help the Alliance, I knew where I came from. I knew where I was, but I needed to work with the Alliance to see where we are going, where this future of St. Eustatius, its people, and its ancestral past was going. So that is the reason why I joined the Alliance.
Okay, so now that you are part of the Alliance as an official member, what type of challenges do you think awaits the Alliance moving forward?
Well, one of the biggest challenges I think the Alliance will have moving forward is community engagement. We have to find a way to get our people more involved. We have to find a way to make our ancestral past so interesting, so exciting, where people want to be part of something. They want to be part of the movement. Another thing we may have some challenges is funding, and we need to be able to put in projects where we can get funding to get certain projects up and running where the people can see that something is being done. And most of the time when the public sees work going on and in their benefit, their ancestors' benefit, it tends to make other people feel warm in the heart and want to help to do something. So I think one of the biggest challenges we're going to have in the future is making sure community involvement is very strong, very positive, and we really put some good plans together to get funding to carry out a lot of these projects.
So, do you think after the alliance was established in 2021, has it, in your view, brought more awareness to the community in general and even to those abroad?
Yes, I think it has. I think it has brought a lot of awareness from people both locally, people from our neighboring islands, as far as Barbados, Curacao. We've been getting calls, Aruba, Bonaire, our sister islands. We've been getting a lot of calls. We've been even getting a lot of input and calls from representatives within the ministry of the Dutch government. Also from St. Helena, where they had a similar stories to us with the transatlantic slave trade, where a lot of burial grounds there were disturbed, and it took a fight, and it's still taking a fight to get them reburied. So that is something we as an alliance have to really fight hard, get community awareness, community engagement, and also government engagement in finding a very good place to put these ancestral remains that are still above ground. That is the urgency that we have at hand right now. Also, we have Miss Peggy King Jordan, who was very, very instrumental in work that we've been doing here. She's been doing this for years. It's something she's done in the city of New York, where they unearthed a very old African burial ground, and she has been helping with our colleague in St. Helena to get their reburial, and also trying to help there with whatever she can. And she's been doing a very good job here with us. In ending, I would like all of St. Eustatius, all of our inhabitants of St. Eustatius. And also, I'm going to go a little further. I'm going to reach to our sister island, Saba. If you need any help with our ancestral beliefs, our ancestral remains, please feel free to call the Alliance. We need our people to stand up. Once we stand up and we stand up together, we can move mountains. So keep that in mind. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel put aside. Don't feel sorry for how it makes you feel. Just be positive. If we don't do something now, nobody will do something in the future. And our ancestry, our heritage, our history will be lost. So all I'm saying is, talk to somebody who can help you. Talk to the Alliance, talk to people who are versed in our Caribbean history, and be aware of what's going on.
So, welcome to the podcast of the St. Eustatius African Burial Ground Alliance. My name is Ulysses Lopes. This podcast is about reclaiming our African history and cultural heritage. This is episode 4. Today I have Kenneth Couvelier, president of the Alliance and the Monument Foundation on St. Eustatius, alongside Fre Calmes. So, Kenneth, give the people a quick rundown of who you have here today on the island.
Yeah, good day to the audience and the community of St. Eustatius. Just to give a short synopsis, this year in March, we did a training, and the project name was Remember Statia, Tracing Our Origin. And so, in short, We trained 12 candidates from Statia who were born in Statia. Some of them living on Statia, some of them living abroad outside of Statia, to search the slavery registry, looking and connecting to their African ancestral names and to them who are living today. We also, coming out of that training with them, searching the slavery registry, all candidates came up with their own identical and unique story. And so in that context, we help them shape and put the context as to what they discover in relation to that connection to the story. We also help and train them into that regard. Now, we are in the final part of the project Remember Statia, Tracing Our Origin, whereof all of those stories which the candidate produced or wrote will be actually decorated with a visual component around the story. And so we had found and went in search for an African brother who can actually do that type of specific work. And we came up with Mr. Frederick Calmes, who was born in Haiti, raised in Curacao, and has a studio in Amsterdam. And so for the last 2.5 weeks, Frederick Calmes is here on the island. We've been visiting almost all of the existing African sacred places and burial grounds where he's connecting with his ancestors and getting a sense of their deep spirituality with the energy coming out of that journey which he's going on with the ancestors together with those stories. And all of those stories at the same time will actually be incorporated with those senses. And so around those stories, he's building a visual image to every story. And today is my pleasure to present to the audience of St. Eustatius, Mr. Frederick Calmes, who's doing that great work in finalizing our project on this island here. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to be here on Statia together with Kenneth and everybody of the Alliance. And I will introduce myself a little bit from where I come from. My name is Frederick Calmes. I go by Fre. Basically, that's my artistic name. I was born on Haiti, and from Haiti, I moved to Curacao. I grew up there, and from Curacao, I moved to Miami. I lived there for many months, and then I went back to Curacao, and then I moved to the Netherlands, where I'm living right now, in Amsterdam to be specific. I started my artistic journey in 2016. And since then, I've been working with many interesting organizations and people. To tell you a little bit about my work is focused on spirituality, more African ancestral spirituality. And I work with the spirits who are guiding me within the process of creating art. So basically, I'm multidisciplined in different type of arts, from painting, illustration, drawings, sculptures. And right now on Statia, I'm working on 12 drawings for the stories that Kenneth was talking about. And my experience in Statia so far has been very magical, overwhelming, but then in a positive sense. I visit a couple of the sacred places here in Statia just to feel the vibrations of the ground. Also, the environment, which is giving me a very different inspiration from what I'm used to. My experience at Statia so far as an artist has been very powerful because back in Amsterdam, when I'm working there, the work that I'm doing there is very different from what I'm doing here, because here I'm more connected with the ancestors and also more with the spirits of the enslaved ancestors that are in Statia. Working with them has been a wonderful experience, but also a painful experience, because around Statia, you can still hear the echoes of the past. And as many of you know, they were devastating. And creating the visuals for these 12 stories has been very, very traumatic, but at the same time, I still managed to find beauty where there's beauty to find, to bring these stories alive. I'm very honored to be part of this project because it's really completing my artistic journey in a way that I didn't expect. There are still stories that I need to read, to connect with, and create the visuals for. But so far, the ones that I made already, they are, if I can say so myself, very strong and wonderful and also impactful. Can't wait to share that with all of you when they're all done.
Okay, so Fre, I hear you've been in many places. I hear you've been born in Haiti. You grew up a bit in Curacao. You traveled to and lived in Miami as well. Now in Amsterdam. Having your little journey here on Statia, your artistic journey, as I must put it, in comparison with the other countries and states that you've been in, how is the journey here on Statia? And how has that impacted your artist journey as well? With the sceneries, the images that it has. Over here we also have the original sounds of the atmosphere. Other countries you miss out on hearing different birds chirping, chickens all about, the animals here and there free. It isn't as contained as other countries, with zoos and all of that, but it does give you a different natural feeling. So touch a bit more on that for the people as well, so we can get an understanding of how that has been in your shoes, seeing that you traveled in those various countries.
Well, yeah, it's how to explain it, because it's really different. For example, Haiti, I was only born there, and I went back like 6 years after that and to visit and to meet my family. But a lot of people know the struggle of Haiti, so I'm not going too deep into that. But there wasn't as much that I've seen for me to talk about. I might say that the closest place that I can compare Statia to would be Curacao, and I'm saying Curacao because there is also traces of history that you can see. Yeah, of course, other places as well, but I can relate it to Curacao more. For me, Statia is so dimensional. Like, for example, yesterday I went for a walk and I realized there was like a lot of cows, like loose, walking around, minding their own business, like not being in a secluded place, but they're just walking free. And that puts a big smile on my face. And also, like, every morning when I wake up and I open the door and all the chickens, come start running at me, basically to ask for food, which, yeah, I get that. But yeah, Statia for me is very open, very free. If you have knowledge of the history of Statia, then I think you can easily make a plan to travel around, to visit places that are connected to that history, and you can find new things to add to that history. And also, for me as an artist, that's also very important, especially to the places that I've been, the plantains and sacred places. Yesterday, I was talking with a friend of mine, and I showed him some of the drawings that I made for the stories. And he told me that they are very different from what I'm used to make back at home in Amsterdam. And that's because I believe that here in Statia, I reconnected with not only, with the energy of the ancestors, but also I found my Blackness. And by that, I mean when you live so long in Europe, it kind of like takes something away from you, like part of your identity. And being here surrounded with my people and the nature, the sound of the nature, it brings you back to your core, to what you are. And that influenced my works so heavily. And I'm so content that I can use that experience, and that experience helped me to evolve into creating more powerful and meaningful art. And also, for me, the most impactful are the sites that have visited, the plains, the sacred place, and also other memorial places, because it has helped me to understand what is Statia about and why people are living the way they're living in Statia, why they're so calm, why they're so peaceful, friendly, and also at a spiritual side, like why it has so much influence on me and on my work. What I've noticed as well is the contrast of how a lot of colonial places are, how to say, they are still there, also very dominant on the islands. You cannot miss them. But then when it comes to our ancestors of places that are very strong related to them, they are actually forgotten, neglected, and that saddens me a lot, because I don't think they feel they are remembered, and that's something through my spiritual journey I found very important, to let them know that they are remembered and that are also being respected, because basically we all are their children's. Because of the hard work, endurance, struggles, we are here today. So it is only right to give them a proper memorial, give them a proper monument, just to connect with them as well, and let them spirits know that they matter to all of us.
So tell me, how does this journey that you're on within the artistic journey and your spiritual journey, how does that fit in with the Alliance?
Well, for me, working with the Alliance, it has been the best match. I remember telling myself that I was looking for an organization, in this case, an alliance, that will provide me with the opportunity that I'm getting right now, which is not only for something that matters to me, because what the alliance are doing is actually something that I'm very passionate about, and that is not only trace the history, and by tracing the history, I mean trace the history where it matters, because as everybody knows, you can tell the history in different ways, but the way that the Alliance are doing it, it's focusing on the ancestors, highlighting places that you need to visit, to understand what happened in the past, archiving the right information, so if you don't know something about your ancestors, they can at least help you with that, so you can know more about them, because knowing about your ancestors, meaning also knowing about yourself. And when it comes to the spiritual side of it, they are also very aware of that, and that they have given me more that I could ask for, because visiting the plantains, and the sacred places, they have the right information as well that they could have provided me to understand more what happened into certain places, where I could spiritually connect with the places. I hope that other people will also make use of the knowledge that the Alliance can offer them.
So, do you see yourself taking this spiritual and artistic journey here on Statia again to, further expand on everything that you have going on?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not done with Statia yet. Because working on this project, it have given me so many inspiration to do more, especially around the sacred places, because I feel like art matters. Art matters because art is a way to talk also about the history. And as an artist, my main goal is to contribute to the history. And I look forward to work again with the Alliance in other type of projects that I can contribute in the history of Statia and to connect people with their ancestors. And for the personal, I mean, when it comes to my career as an artist, is that there's so many things that I want to work on, Statia, and the influence that Statia has on my art right now is so powerful. I just want to see where it's going to lead in me in the near future. So, Statia, I'm going to see you again very soon.
Thank you once again for joining us. My name is Ulysses Lopes, and you were listening to a podcast episode of the St. Eustatius African Burial Ground Alliance, reclaiming our stories, restoring our ties.